I'm Betsy Cazden. I'm a member of New England Yearly Meeting, and at the moment I serve as assistant clerk of FWCC at the World Office level. I've been involved in the section of the Americas in various capacities since the early 1990s. The official beginning of FWCC as an organization with a constitution and bylaws is 1937. But the first World Conference out of which the organization came was the All Friends Conference of 1920, which was hosted in London, and it brought together Quakers from all backgrounds. London Yearly Meeting, the Hicksite meetings, the conservative or Wilburite meetings, the Gurneyite programmed meetings, with a common concern, this is of course right after World War I, to explore and strengthen the witness against war. And that was really the impetus. But it was a dramatic move because before that, the Quakers from the different branches really did not communicate with each other at all. So you bring them all together in one room. Now, all at that point is London, North America, and handfuls of people from other parts of the world, but very, very few. In the 50s, 60s, 70s, into the 80s, there was the American section, and there was, I think it was called the European section. There was an office in the UK and an office in Philadelphia, both with paid staff. And there were periodic meetings that brought people together from the whole world. There was a big conference at Guilford College in 1967, but there were then triennial meetings every 3 years for a large part of that time. Gradually, over that time, new yearly meetings were being recognized in what had been the mission fields: Africa, Latin America, Asia. And so gradually the involvement of friends from other places increases, but structurally it's still basically London, Philadelphia, Richmond, Indiana, a little bit of West Coast, US West Coast, token participation, and completely running in English. So that's what I would call the middle period. The Africa section of FWCC was established in 1971, which is an indication of the growing size and influence of friends in East Africa, particularly in Kenya. Asia West Pacific section was established as a separate entity in 1986. They're the newest section. Starting in the mid-80s, FWCC has had the configuration that it has now with 4 sections. The names have changed over time. Europe became Europe and Middle East. The American section became the section of the Americas to make it clear that it was not simply North America. The concerns, I think, have been similar. First, to bring friends together, which is challenging. Within the section of the Americas, and to some extent the other sections, there's been increased attention to language diversity, to not limiting participation to people who are fluent in English. And the section of the Americas, I would say, is the most multilingual of any of the other sections, partly because in the Americas, there are basically two languages. The other sections are much more multilingual. And so they tend to go with English rather than trying to do interpretation into a whole range of languages. But the issue is there of linguistic access and not being just English. And I would say increasingly a sensitivity and really trying to grapple with economic inequality, the digital divide, so technological inequality, gender equality. So really grappling with what it means to be an equitable organization and an inclusive organization.